Hey, I am Dory Doyle. I am a new real estate agent who doesn't have her license yet, but I am so excited to get started. If you want to hear all about my story of studying for this licensing exam, you can watch it in my last video. So you might be wondering why I decided to get into real estate. Honestly, it's not a random decision. It's been a long time coming, and there's a story that connects to my dad, my own experiences buying and selling homes, and a major life shift that finally made it feel right. So stick with me because I think that it's going to help you understand a little bit of where I'm coming from. So let me start at the beginning. My dad is a real estate attorney. He is the senior partner of his law firm. He has been practicing real estate law for longer than I've been alive. And here's the thing, it's been the only part of law that he's ever focused on. So that has been his whole world. And growing up, I loved hearing about the problems that he would solve for his clients. Of course, he was very ethical about it and never gave away details, but I was fascinated with how he would work through really complex issues in the real world and in the real estate world. And on top of that, he was buying properties, holding onto them as investments, selling them. And so real estate was just always around me. So I was watching it, I was interested in it and thinking about it even without realizing it. And it just planted a seed. So now let's fast forward a little bit through all of the years of me coming home from school and watching HGTV and TLC. And my husband and I are now getting married and establishing our home in Richmond. And we were really excited to buy our first house. And that process was quite a journey. We found a house that we loved. We made an offer. They rejected it. And we were heartbroken. And then the interest rates dropped. And because of that, we actually qualified for a bigger house for the same that we would have paid for that first house. So we found another house in a neighborhood right across the street from that first one. We purchased it with a really good interest rate. And what was really interesting about that whole experience is that we did our research. We knew what we wanted. We knew the price range that we were comfortable with. And the negotiation part was really fun and exhilarating. And I loved looking at houses and thinking of possibilities. And that was actually the worst part about when we bought the house is I can't do that anymore. I have to stop looking. But the whole thing was exciting. And at the time, I had no interest in being a real estate agent. And in fact, the neighbor across the street from us was a broker, and she actively was trying to recruit me into her brokerage. And at one point, she gave me the textbook that you study for the real estate licensing course, and I started reading it, and I could not get through the first chapter. It was so dry and so much information. And so I thought, no, this is not for me. I tried, I read it, it's just not for me. And so eventually we sold that house. I gave her book back, and that was that. So in that time, I'm a teacher, and then I had kids, and we sold the house that we raised our kids in for many years, for 7 or 8 years, and moved to the Charlottesville area. In that time, in between the first house and the move to Charlottesville, I had been working at a therapeutic day spa, and I had lots of clients. I was a really good listener, and I was really good at hearing what people wanted and turning it into solutions based on their experiences. But I was burned out. I was tired of being a problem solver and solving everyone else's problems all day long. And around the same time, my mom looked at me and said, "You know what? You should do real estate for a living." And I said, thanks, but no, I'm not going to do it. I don't want to be on call when people need a contract, and I don't want people depending on me for something this big. I wanted to step back from the client face piece. I wanted to be a full-time stay-at-home mom, homeschool my twins. That was really important to me. So I did that. I did that for 1.5 years, just focused on being a mom. And slowly I just started dipping my toes back into the working world with some graphic design and strategy management projects, and I really enjoyed it. And it was kind of a cool idea to not only homeschool my kids, but be flexible about it and do something part-time, more than part-time. I wasn't quite sure, but just getting to experience both worlds. And then, key moment, a friend of mine approached me about real estate. She wasn't trying to push me or convert me or convince me. She was just looking to link arms with someone, and there was something about this moment in time that it just felt different. It felt collaborative. It is when things stopped feeling like pressure and they just started clicking. And what I realized that I love about real estate and have always loved about real estate is it's not the stress, it's not the being on call piece, it's helping people, and it's helping them feel like they can actually feel comfortable in their home. And I can use my talents, my active listening, my problem solving, my design, my overall vision. I don't think that there's a bigger problem solving piece than buying or selling a house. It's huge. So anyway, she planted a seed again. And now I have a lot of questions, right, about what it takes to become a real estate agent, because the whole thing felt very big and almost uncomfortable and unfamiliar, even though it wasn't. So I went and started researching. I asked questions. I would talk to AI. I was actually able to utilize Claude and turn on the speech mode while I was in between driving my kids to and from their rehearsals and practices and everything, about what are the costs, what classes do I need to take, what do I need to do for registrations and licensure, and I just wanted as much information as possible. So I utilized the time that I had to build that in with that research. And once I had this information, I realized I can't move forward with this unless I take this class and pass it. And the price point of the class is low. It was just $200. The test was $60. So it's not a huge financial decision. So why not just do it? Let's see what happens. It buys me time. I don't have to make any decisions. I can just take a mini step and let's see if I actually want to keep going. So I took the test, the class, and then the test. And again, there's a whole video on that. I passed both portions my first try, which is rare. And now I'm excited. I'm experimenting, I'm learning. And here's what I know. The licensing class, it teaches you a lot about legalities, vocabularies, but it doesn't teach you necessarily the day-to-day life of being a real estate agent. And that's what I'm interested in now. I want to learn what happens in the real process of it. I want to understand contracts inside and out, not just from a buyer or seller perspective that I have, but I want to know all the steps so I can effectively lead people through them. And so I have this vision of what I want this to look like. Wouldn't it be amazing if I could help people make the buying and selling process seamless? If they know what to expect and they know what's coming next and everything is organized so there's no surprises, wouldn't that be amazing? Because things will pop up and we have to be a little flexible. But when you're signing 20,000 documents, wouldn't it be great if you just knew what you're signing and understood it? This knowledge of what's coming next, clear expectations. I think that transforms this process from being this really big, scary, overwhelming thing into something that is approachable, manageable, and even adventurous, which is how I approached the test. It's how I approach life. It's why the YouTube channel that I have with my family is called The Doyle Adventures, because I love looking at life as an adventure. So much more fun. And when you have something as big a purchase as a home, I think that we also can look at it as an adventure, and then it takes some of the stigma and the stress and the worry away from it. Of course, making still good financial decisions and wise choices, that's all part of it. But I think that the approach can be more fun. I really do. So here I am, and that's why I'm getting into real estate. That's that's the purpose of me starting this channel, is to document this whole process. I want to document the learning, what happens, the real stuff, the messy stuff, and everything in between, because I think my journey into this can help people, whether they're looking to buy real estate, sell real estate, get into something like this as well. I think it's nice to be real. I think that we have a lot of real estate people that are big and flashy, and I can't fault them for doing it their way. That's not my way. I'm here in a t-shirt in my kids' library, our craft room. I have the dog snoring in the room next door, and I had to wait until my husband and kids left to go to a rehearsal so I could record this, because that's the time that I had. I have my trampoline back here. I mean, this is real life, and that's okay. I kind of just want to document this next chapter of my life for all of the good, the bad, and the ugly, and we'll see where this takes us. So I'm excited for what this channel could be. What it may not end up being, I don't know, but for now it's fun, and that's my step of how I actually got to this point. So thanks for listening to my story. And in case you don't remember, I'm Dory Doyle, and I don't yet have my license because I am on this journey actively right now. Maybe by the time you're watching this, I do. But this is fun. This is real life. Entering the real estate world and feeling some what is the word? I can't remember. Here I am. Imposter syndrome. That's what it is. Feeling a little imposter syndrome. I'm going to get past it, and you're going to get to see the real me, and thankfully I know how to learn, and I'm excited for this. And I know with all of the paths that I've taken, I conquer things. So here I go.